Hey team, welcome back to another video. We're going to go ahead and talk about the Exo Mek today. So this is another one of the new Gen 2 release dinos, I guess. I don't know if you want to call it a dino, but it's basically just a small version of the other mech. What this thing does is a lot different than the original mech, however, and it's quite a bit smaller if you look at this. So you do have to actually go ahead and beat the final boss, which is Rockwell again, to unlock this. So it is locked behind a boss, just like normal, which is fine. I think that's totally okay, especially because it is a pretty strong item. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Alright, so jumping straight into the Exo Mek here, we have a couple of things that you're going to want to know. So the first thing is it starts in a combat mode. As you can see down there on the bottom right, in the bottom middle rather, it says that it tells you what mode you're in. It also tells you can toggle what's called Rts Mode, but we'll talk about Rts Mode in a second. So to switch between modes, all you need to do is hit right click. This is going to be the second mode. This is the carry mode, and basically all this does, just as a heads up, is it allows you to pick up items. So as you get close, as you can see here, it's highlighting which item I'm close to and if I can pick it up or not. So if I go ahead and hit left click, it picks it up, and then I can go ahead and put it back down if I hit left click again, and it shows me exactly where I'm going to place it, just like so. Now that first vault was empty, there's nothing in it, and it has 0 weight. The second item, or the second vault, has 43 weight, and it does have items in it. But if you look at here, we have 0 weight in our current inventory. We go ahead and pick this guy up. Still 0 weight. It does not transfer the weight over, and I can pick this up no problem. When I put it back down, the items are still very much so inside the chest. Nothing changed, nothing's really messed up or messed with there. Now, you can pretty much carry most items, so you can carry a forge, as you can see. You can pick it up with no problems, put it back down. This is going to be great for rearranging bases. Replicator, same thing, 0 issues whatsoever. So we'll go ahead and put that back down. This is going to make it great for people who are having issues or, have OCD about where you're placing items. Makes it so much easier. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for the carry mode. So let's go ahead and talk about the third mode here, which is storage mode. As you can see, it does go ahead and give you a little bit of a different thing, and it lets you target foundations, which you couldn't do before. All this does is basically allow you to pick the item back up, and it puts it directly into the inventory of the mech. So this is the base stats of the mech. I forgot to go over those really quick, but it does have 20,000 weight and 2,000 health, so it does have a good amount of weight and health. Now, as you notice, I do want to point out here that if it does affect 2 things, in this case it's showing you it's going to affect the vault that's on top of this foundation as well. It will highlight them both, and it will pick them both up. So rather than just dropping it, it will pick both of those items up. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see if we can get it to do. Might just be a little too big for the foundations back here. We'll leave it, but you get the general idea. So you can pick these back up, you can place them back down, and as you can see on the bottom left, it does run on element. The little red area is about to run out. As soon as that does run out, I think I will go ahead and get kicked out, and we'll have to put some element into it. The more you do, the faster that's going to go, and there it is. So once you run out of element, it looks like this, and it basically just says energy depleted. You need to go ahead and add more element for it to be back online. Throw the element in, and you're good to go. Really nothing crazy there. So jump back into combat mode. All this really has is a left-right goodnight kind of situation, and then it has this right here, so you can actually target things below you. If you try and swing, let's say you're hitting wolves, you're going to swing right over the top of them. It doesn't do very much damage. If you hit the C button, it does actually do a ground smash, so you can actually hit the smaller dinos that might be attacking you. So that's how you fight on this thing. Now, it does have a couple other cool things to do. The first one being this massive jump. So this thing can jump really far. I don't want to jump, well, you know what, we'll just go super far for a second so you guys can see it. As you can see, this thing can cruise, and it goes quick. It runs fast even when you run with the thing, not just the jump. I'll show you the run here really quick. So it actually moves really fast. So you can actually run around with vaults or whatever it is. If you're in the middle of a fob, you guys need to move your stuff up a little bit faster or closer. You can grab it with this bad boy, move them up, and just kind of move things along, so you don't have to continue to do what we normally do, which is just keep building new ones and moving things around. Has kind of a little Superman ability there too. So that's pretty much the basics of this guy. I think the most important, or the next piece to talk about, is going to be the RTS mode. So let's talk about that now. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about the next part here. So just as a heads up, if you guys are having this issue as well, if you summon in one of these mechs, you cannot use the RTS mode. You actually have to craft one of the mechs for it to work. But all you need to do is hit the, down here it shows you actually in the middle, it says MMB, which is middle mouse button. I did find out while trying to figure this out that you can come in here. There's a new RTS controls section. You can change it to whatever you want to. As you can see, there's a couple of keys. Middle mouse button is the one default to open up RTS mode. There's an R, which makes it so you center on the player. Q centers on the selection. Right mouse button issues an order. X cancels, and then left mouse button selects a unit. So that's where the default controls are. You can change those if you'd like to. So let's go ahead and jump into this and show you kind of what it looks like. Now you can scroll in and out. As you can see, I can scroll up pretty far, which is good because it does, I mean, it's kind of important for us to be able to do that since we are in an RTS mode. Now, the area that you can scan in this is massive. I mean, this is like a great way to scout. It's going to be a good, I mean, not even just move your dinos around, but this is going to be a great way for you to be able to kind of figure out where people are, what they're doing. Looking behind walls and stuff is going to be insane, right? Because, I mean, as you can see, there's no line of sight in this game in terms of what you can see. As long as you've had it loaded, you can see it, and the same goes here. It's a big circle, it looks like, which is massive, massive. So let's look over here on the left. So we already talked about the first couple here. We can select a dino. We can select all dinos by double left clicking. It's going to be a little bit laggy because we are in single player here. Let's scroll in, maybe that will help a little bit. So as you can see, it tells us how many we've selected now, and it highlights what we've selected. So if we double click that dino or 2x it, should select all of those dinos, or sorry, all of the dinos in the area, probably including the Giga. Maybe. Super laggy in single player. Let's go. There we go. Okay, so looks like it's just the dinos in that area. It's supposed to be shift double click to get just the dinos of the same class. And then you can remove a class from the selection by hitting control and then double clicking again twice. You can issue an order by right clicking, and they're going to immediately do it, which is a huge improvement from what they were doing before. You can stop all of the dinos by hitting X. You can do select group by hitting the hotbar key, tapping the hotbar key. Center on the camera of group. So that means, basically what that means is if you've already set up groups for certain dinos, that's only going to be on your 1 through 9 keys, or your 0 key as well, and you can use that to move around the dinos. So that makes those groups much more useful in this situation. So that's kind of interesting. You can also assign groups and things like that. It looks like during this particular group, we're not going to worry about that. And then you can turn on and off the UI by hitting shift middle mouse button. So I'm not going to worry too much more about the group stuff. I just wanted to kind of show you guys the general idea here. And if I click off of it, it looks like it lags out so bad. This is so laggy in single player, which is kind of unfortunate. So you can also go ahead and drag and drop like this to select a lot of dinos at once, or an area of dinos at once. Unfortunately, it's going to lag out again. I thought there were some... It's kind of interesting that it removes the foliage too. It's based off of your view distance, but as you can see, it takes away a lot of the stuff here that I had, that I was seeing. So let's send these dinos over here and see what happens. So if I right click on a dino, it looks like it's going to tell it to attack them. Looks like they're trying to get through. Ooh, they even whistled automatically. Okay, I'm going to bring them here first so they can kind of group up. These are just random ones that I summoned in, so they're probably not even very strong. They're probably about to get wrecked here, but we're going to bring them in, tell them to attack this here. And obviously they're going to take a little bit of the damage. Ooh, it even shows damage numbers if you have damage numbers turned on. That's really interesting. I wonder see how far we can zoom in. So we saw how far we can zoom out. Okay, alright, they're kind of on neutral. Let's take this one out now. This is going to be so interesting. I bet you there's going to be some really interesting mods with this version of the game, or with this specific aspect. Let them attack this last one here. This is crazy. This is actually really cool. So now we've got those ones over there doing their thing, right? We can have them attack the Bronto as well. We could also have our Gigas doing something else while these ones are... I wish it kind of showed their health though. I think that's the only thing that's kind of missing from an RTS aspect. Can I hover over them? Do I get any? Oh, I do get a little information. Okay, it actually shows their health if I hover over them like that. I wonder what happens when they leave the range here. We're gonna let those guys go for a second. Let's get our Gigas here really quick now. This is super interesting. I don't know how well this is gonna work in big raids because it's already so laggy, and clearly this is a pretty pretty big function. Didn't even select them both because it's lagging out so hard in single player, which is crazy. Just from selecting, oh, I actually can select my mech. Wait a second, can I move my mech around? We've already seen what the dinos look like. I'm not too worried about moving those gigas around. But can I move my mech? Oh, I can move my mech. Does that move? Clearly that moves my character. Oh, it does. So that moves my RTS around as well. Oh, what? That's crazy. Okay, so we're going down. So it's actually moving our camera down as well because we're at max height. This is so crazy. Can we attack something with our mech while we're in it? Oh, we can't. We cannot attack something with our mech while we're in it. But we can move our mech around. So that means we can move our player around in this RTS mode. That's crazy. That's so good. Can we pick something up? Can we tell it to pick something up? No, it's just going to move. That's really interesting. So we can actually move around in RTS mode now as well. It's too bad we can't be on a flyer. I wonder what happens if someone tries to pick you. Okay, there's a lot of things we could do with this that we're not going to really worry about right now. I just want to show you guys that you can also move, so you can move multiple things at once. Ah, man. Okay, let's move this guy way over here while we move this guy. So laggy. I really hope it's not this laggy on a server. I'll test it out once we unlock them on official. I don't have an unofficial server that I'm playing on right now that I could really test this on, so laggy though. It's gonna be really interesting though. Think boss fights, pulling things in and out. That's gonna make things really interesting. This is really cool. But that kind of wraps up the mech, guys. I'm not gonna go over too much more because I think at this point we've kind of talked about everything we need to talk about. There's really not a whole lot more that we really need to discuss. The only other thing I can really think of is I wish there was a way to make them harvest while you're in this mode, because that would make things. I mean, we're talking about changing this kind of into an RTS. If you could harvest with this as well, like let's say you had Ankies. Is there a way to... obviously there's a way to do... Actually, we're probably going to test this now. So what happens if I click on this? So it does not recognize the body. It's just telling it to stop. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Let's see if we can tell it to harvest this body here. No indicator here? Yeah, no indicator. So I don't think it's possible. Which is a little unfortunate, but that's okay. It's still really, really interesting. He's auto-harvesting right now because it's on neutral anyway, but that's a really interesting aspect. I think this is going to make the game... We'll see what ends up happening. This could be really good, this could be really bad. Obviously, you can't go all the way up into the sky, so sky dinos even are going to make it a little more interesting, because if someone goes too high up after your dinos are following them, you're not even going to be able to see them on the map anymore. So really, really interesting. I really like this aspect. I'm not sure how useful this is going to be or not going to be. Man, the scouting potential, just the scouting potential, honestly, even if everything else sucks on this, is going to be really, really interesting. I'm kind of stoked about this. Can you zoom in past yourself? No. So if you're up on a cliff, you can't zoom in super, super far off the side of a cliff, but still so sick. I'm really, really stoked about this. I'm really kind of interested to see how this works out. Yeah, I mean, you can see he took that. I told him to attack from pretty far away. Usually you can't do that. Usually their commands aren't very good, but it looks like this RTS mode changes that a little bit, fixes it a little bit. We could even get him to come all the way back up if we wanted to. This is great. Like, he can do his own meat runs now. Just put him on aggressive, tell him to go certain places. So good. I really like this. Good job, Wildcard. I think it might be broken later on. There are going to be really interesting things like running turtles and stegos and things like that into people's walls. But there's already bigger problems with that already, with things like the Shadow Main. So we'll go ahead and leave it for Wildcard to figure out. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you guys want to see more. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.